Screwed up the intro there. I accidentally had the intro on loop, so sorry for having to deal with that. Oh, everything's on loop. All right. What a game. Wow. I was not expecting to go on tonight. Not at all. I thought the Timberwolves were just going to absolutely wipe the floor with the Warriors tonight. And then, obviously, like everybody else, I saw the first, 15 seconds of the game? Madness. Absolute madness. Clay's just he's kind of like, he's a vet. He's a vet. He can kind of get away with things. He doesn't have the same athleticism. So he's boxing out on Jaden McDaniels. He's kind of got his hand. He's kind of holding on to Jaden McDaniels' jersey, kind of as one of those things where it's like, he's not pulling him or anything, but he's just like, okay, I just need to know, I'm just locating you. Where are you at in case there is a box out situation? And then Jaden McDaniels, obviously, after last game and their little dust up, he takes exception to that, just escalates it even further, grabs Clay's jersey. All of a sudden, it's a grab off. And then Draymond just comes in flying out of nowhere. Gobert in a headlock. We got to talk about Draymond a little bit before we get into the game, because there's a lot of good stuff in the game, a lot of exciting stuff. Dude, I don't know, Draymond. I'm a huge Draymond guy. I know there's no way they win these championships without him. I also know, there's no way they're not going to go far this year without Draymond locked in. But bro, I didn't really love the way in the last game, I didn't really love him talking shit to Edwards, as they were getting completely punked and pretty much no one was doing anything but Curry. And it's it didn't seem like Edwards was really even talking to him. Draymond's just kind of lashing out at him. And Edwards was just more of a bro, I'm not even trying to fight right now. What are you doing? Sort of deal. Draymond today, I think it kind of scares me, because I think both Draymond and Clay, they feel the mortality. They know they don't have that much left in them. And it's almost like my dog, he's nipped me a few times, but he doesn't ever nip unless he's got something going on. Let's say he's got an infection in his paws, or, something's going on here. He's got a hot spot there. When he's kind of injured, kind of hobbled, kind of weak, that's when he really lashes out. And that's where I feel like Draymond's coming from a place of weakness right now. They just got punked. The Warriors are on a skid. There's no Curry. The guy's got a ton of pride, a lot of confidence. And it's just dude, he just took it to a 20 out of 10, right off the jump. And I don't know. Obviously you just kind of, you take, hey, Aussie Rules. He says, hey, Rod, Dre, and Clay, ugh. Yeah. It's just what? It was just what are you doing, Draymond? It's just a wild move. I once on my 21st birthday, I got really drunk. I don't remember this, but I guess I was falling asleep at the bar because, of course, it was my 21st birthday and people were just feeding me drinks. And then the bouncer came, and I guess he was trying to kick me out, and I put the bouncer in a headlock. Not something I'm proud of, something I'm, looking back, pretty embarrassed of. But I'm sure at the time, I was completely blacked out. I didn't even know what was going on. And that was just my fear response. That's Draymond is just dude, what? He's going immediately to a 20 anytime there's any little escalation. And I don't know if it's he needs that motivation or really what it is, or he feels he needs to protect his standing in the league. I'm not sure, but he's probably going to get suspended for at least 4 games for that. That's would be my thinking, around head and neck area, putting Draymond or Gobert in a headlock. I don't know. But the interesting thing, Luna chimes in, says Wolves. Hey, I said it, I don't know, early last week. I don't even remember what podcast I was on. If it was mine, Dan's, Larry's, I don't even know. But I said I took the Timberwolves 33-1 to win the West. This team's legit. They beat the Celtics. They beat the Nuggets. They're insanely long, insanely athletic, young. Anthony Edwards is I'm not going to say he's Kmart brand Jordan, because that's kind of disrespectful, but he is he's got young Jordan vibes. And I love the way the kid locks in at the end of games. And on offense and defense. So, I mean, they're just a scary team. They're a terrible matchup for the Warriors. Like, I do not feel good about the Warriors going into a playoff series versus the Timberwolves. And you saw it the other game, like first game, when Steph Curry was still there. And it was like, Steph's like got like, I think he scored 38, like pretty good percentages, like probably shot like 45% from three. And it was like, that was their only offense. It was just Steph just launching like pretty ignorant, like 33 footers, and he was making them. And still, like, just the offense was super stagnant, way too big, way too young, way too athletic, way too long. Just really kind of goes to show. And then all of a sudden, it's like they're running a lineup, like trying to make a run with like Chris Paul, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson. Like, Steph Curry's the best defensive player out of those three. And it's like, what are you supposed to do here? And then it's not like Chris Paul is like just super wet from three. But like, now on to this game. All right, so I thought I was kind of excited for this game just because I thought here's an opportunity for somebody, one of these youngins, to just really step it up and kind of like make a name for himself and insert his way into the lineup. Because Kerr is, he historically, like, people forget, yes, they took off the second Kerr got here, but Mark Jackson like took that core group. He took them from boys to men. That's what I'll say. like the whatever men group, hip R&B. He took them from boys to men, and he got them all to lock in. He got Klay to play good defense. Like, he developed those guys. Kerr walked in and like shit was kind of, it was ready made, and like he was the right guy to deal with, ready-made veteran dudes, smart dudes that'll listen. That's like his jam. He like can't deal with these young guys. So I was just looking, I was really hoping, I knew Kuminga was probably going to take a lot of shots. Like, obviously we're going to see Kuminga, but Moody has not gotten nearly enough opportunity this year. And to me, I think that it kind of, I mean, Klay's just such a bummer out there. He's a huge bummer. Like, he's just shooting like what? He'll just shoot like 25% from three, play terrible defense, dribble the ball when he shouldn't, turn the ball over, and doesn't really give you anything, on defense, doesn't really board, doesn't really assist. So it's like, unless he's having a day where he's scorching, like, he's just kind of a bummer and like kind of kills the vibe of the team. And I was thinking, man, Moses Moody, I mean, he's been shooting really well. He's been shooting really well. And every time he's come in, like, he's long as hell. He gets his hand on balls, and it's like, damn, Moses Moody, if he can kind of step up and he gets the chance, like, he could maybe move into that starting lineup at the 2. And then all of a sudden he can, he can guard the best point guard or the best whoever. And then, and give Steph a break. Cause it's like, between Klay and Steph right now, Steph is the better defender, which is crazy. And it's, and then Moody provides them spacing. That's the problem. They don't have any shooting really outside of Klay. And then there's like the wild card chance of Moody, and maybe a dusting of Saric, actually, now that I say it. But all that to say, you know what? This was the Podz game. It was absolutely the Podziemski game. Here, let me hit a few comments before I launch into Podziemski. Luke Luna says, go Jazz, take note. We got a ways to go. It was good you guys got a shot to see the depth and young players get some burn. My only question is, are you a Jazz fan? Oh, or maybe are you like a Gobert fan and you've like kind of followed him over to the Wolves, and which, respect. I know like people do that. Like, tons of people aren't actually Warriors fans. They're just like Steph Curry fans. Aussie Rules says Gobert was trying to be a peacemaker, not aggressively going after Klay. Yeah. And also there's like a screenshot being shared online where it kind of looks like Gobert is like, is kind of doing the same thing to Klay. Total bullshit. Like, it just from that angle, and it's like for a split second, it looks like he has Klay in a headlock, but that's not all what it is. It's just like simply a matter of Gobert is an enormous human being, and he's like, what, 8 inches, 9 inches taller than Klay. So like, he's like trying to hold him, but he's so tall that like he's kind of like got him by the neck for a little bit. He said they fought last year and they were a mess. They still made, but they still made teams work in the play-in. True. That is facts. Rye, did you watch the fourth quarter of Clippers Nuggets? Going small the whole fourth quarter against the Joker-led Nuggets, who were long. Ty Lue cost them that game. Yeah, I mean, The Nuggets are a very frustrating team. I I like want to pick them apart somehow, but like they just kind of keep winning even without Jamal Murray, and they're just so big. And Michael Porter Jr. is big and long, and Aaron Gordon is kind of a beast on the glass. And now he has like they all have that like extra like shine of like once you win a championship, like you get an extra shine to you. And like you have that extra level of confidence that you've done that. And a lot of times that's when like players kind of take off and get to the next level. Mitchell Ness says Wiggins having 9 points tonight was pathetic. Wiggins. I agree. It was. I thought for sure. Well, I'll say this about Wiggins: like the beginning of this game, like felt like a playoff game, just because of like everything that was going on. Like finally, you get the cheese and wine crowd at Chase Center. You get them locked into the game early. Wiggins was at least hustling. He was getting boards. He had his hand on things. It's just like he has no confidence in his shot right now, and it looks just absolutely broken. Luke Luna, no, I'm a Jazz fan. LOL. Yeah, okay, Jazz fan, understandable. Mitchell Ness plays D, not that bad this year. He just been asked to guard bigger player. Clay's D. Yeah, I mean, like it's not terrible. But he can't like the great thing about Clay is like he could guard Damian Lillard and Steph, got to guard whoever the other dude was. Like he always got to take like those like Donovan Mitchell, like he would have been guarding Donovan Mitchell. He would have been like it's just so not having that is just huge. So yeah, let's get into Pajemski. I will say I know no one wants to hear about like bad betting beats and stuff, but I have a group message with my buddies that like we always talk about like the props, obviously NFL, and we were doing super well. I've tweeted some of them out. And then with the NBA, like the new thing we're trying to do, because we see it online, like these people that do these crazy parlays just based off of like some point guard is a last minute scratch, and then you just bet like the alternative like over, some bench dude like Peyton Pritchard, like you bet like over 7 rebounds, over 7 assists, over 15 points. And it's like, yeah, he'd have to have the game of his life, but like that happens. Like when all of a sudden you're asked to step up. We were all talking this afternoon. We're like, how do we get all of the alt lines on Pajemski, specifically rebounds, assists, and points? And none of our books allowed or had anything with Pajemski because he's like such a random ass dude to like he's not even in the minds of like these books because he's barely played this year, which is just a huge bummer. And it kind of hurt almost to see him ball out as hard as he did. But it's sick. I mean, he's clearly someone they trust. Like you see, like Moody had the same amount of minutes as Corey Joseph. I don't know how to explain that. Kuminga, he got some minutes, but I mean, Kerr like went to Pajemski, clearly trusts the guy. I mean, it's kind of weird because like he hasn't really gotten in the game that much. And then he was just like, all right, like you're basically taking the Steph role this game. And I mean, the kid showed up. I love that he rebounds from the guard position. That is huge for this team. Something like Peyton does. It's just massive. It's absolutely massive. I loved seeing him be crafty around the rim, going up against Gobert and, banking stuff in. And he just kind of had the shine tonight. Like he just had it when he made that 3-pointer to end the third quarter. I thought, okay, game over. Like this is if the Warriors are making these shots, like it's over. And you know what, Chris Paul, I like that Chris Paul kind of stepped up. It just felt like I don't know. It was kind of a cool thing. Like everybody was playing at a higher level because of like everything that happened. And it's like they're missing Steph, Clay, and Draymond. And it's just, it's cool that they kept it close. Let me get to a couple more. Just like Teddy Atlas says, as soon as you become champion, you get 30% better when talking about fighters. Same goes for any sports. Belief is a powerful thing. I absolutely believe that so much. And it's like, it is one of those things where like, it's annoying. Like it would like, imagine if like the Houston Rockets with James Harden and Chris Paul, like when they were awesome, like if they somehow got over the hump with the Warriors and then won the championship, if they just backed into a championship, like who knows? Like that team could have completely elevated an entire another, thing up. And And the Dubs, I mean, when they won in 2015, like it was kind of a surprise, like, whoa, can't believe we won. It's like Curry scoring 24 a game, and Draymond's good, Clay's good. And then it's like the next year, like Draymond shoots like 43% from three or something absurd. He averages like 15 points a game. Steph goes up to like nuclear levels all year. Clay's insane. I think that's the year he had the Sacramento game. So yeah, and it's just those extra, like the role dudes, like Aaron Gordon, I've always thought was like, dog, like, I want to root for you. You're like a Bay Area guy. You're my age, but you just don't quite have it. You just don't quite have it. And like you saw him kind of freeze up in the playoffs. Like I remember the Warriors played them in the first round when they didn't have Jamal Murray, and he just kind of froze up. And he seems like a completely different level of confident. He's got a whole new thing going on with his hair, man. Yeah, I don't know. He seems like he's totally flipped. Kuminga's 5 points also was just bad. I really expected Kuminga to take a huge step forward this year. So I know Cy. I remember Larry at the beginning of the season said, Kuminga, I don't think the Warriors can win a championship unless Kuminga becomes their second best player. And Cy kind of echoed similar deal. And Cy's super high on him. Cy thinks he's like, could possibly this year be like, like an 18 point a game guy. I think in the DNA of Kuminga, it's like, if he's not like the guy I don't know. I'm trying to find a way to say this where I don't come off as a hater, because I'm not a hater of Kuminga. But it's like, in a game like today, like they actually had pretty good ball movement going on, and like they had kind of a flow going, and like he was a little checked out. Like he wasn't really looking for his shot. He was kind of checked out. And it's like, if Kuminga, if you get, whereas like when he was playing, even with like Draymond and Steph and Clay, like they're encouraging him so much, and like he feels like whenever I get the ball, like I'm allowed to go drive to the hoop, or I'm allowed to, take this shot, blah, blah, blah. And he does it every time. And like, if you see him in the summer league, like dude is like borderline, like on like ball hog type level of scorer. Like he's like, I think he was second in the preseason in scoring. And this is like a couple years now watching him in the summer league. He's just like, he's a baller. He's a baller. He just, every time he gets the ball, like he looks to score. But the problem with him is like he predetermines all his decisions. Like he's not really a guy that can play within the flow of the offense. And part of that's probably like him being like an awesome high school player and then going and playing like with the G League team, whatever. Whereas Moses Moody, like Moody played at Arkansas. He played within a system. He's come in like he's never been a guy that's like a shot chucker ever. And like, if anything, like you have to like force the guy to put up shots. And I just, like, if I could put my money like on either guy, I think that like Moody could really become like a massive part of this team. Like the guy he's wetting threes this year. He like always, whenever he's out there, he always makes the right decision. He never forces it, but it's almost like, because like he doesn't force it, he's kind of easier to, maybe for Kerr to just not play. Like I don't know. I don't know. Luke Luna said, but if you ask Cy, 5 points makes Kuminga a pure scorer. This was his chance to prove that. And I'm sure Cy will have all sorts of reasons why he only got 5. I didn't watch the game, just saw the fourth. Dude, CP3 is a baller. Dude, absolutely. I mean, dude, Kuminga, he's not a pure scorer. I actually did. I don't think I like inserted myself into that whole conversation, because it was already like a 2v1 and it was already getting awkward. But it's like, no, like he has the thing where like Jordan Poole, when he is really cooking and he was like going well on this team and really bought in, had moments where like he could play within the offense and then catch the heat check as it comes naturally, and then force shots in a heat checky type way, which is okay. But then you really saw like last year, it just seemed like Poole was out of the flow of the offense. He was out of the chemistry, like whatever that sort of magical, ethereal basketball thing that you can't really describe or quantify. He was just out of it last year, and it was like, as soon as he got the ball, he already had made up like, okay, I'm going to drive this time. Okay, I'm going to try and I'm going to shoot a three this time. Okay, like he's not like, okay, I'm going to go to the hoop and like, I'm going to stay in balance and like, I'm going to look for somebody else, but also, if that doesn't work out, then I'm going to take the shot. Like Kuminga doesn't have that. Kuminga is like a binary player. He's like binary. Like he's either going to try and drive and shoot and score, or he is just going to be a little bit passive. And Moody has that, whatever that it kind of factor is of like flowing within the offense. It just like drives me crazy that he can't make it out there. Here, let me get through all of these comments and then I'll keep going. Carla P says, Luke, are you in Salt Lake? I'm a Dubs fan living in Salt Lake for a few years, so I've got a soft spot for them now. Mitchell Ness says, with Clay losing a step, Wiggins and Kuminga need to and expected to step up. I'm frustrated with both of them. More Wiggins. Luke Luna at Carlo P. Yeah, I'm in Taylorsville. Let me just respond to this for a second. Like, it's kind of weird. It honestly would seem kind of weird to me at the beginning of the year that Kerr was like finishing a lot of games with Kuminga in there instead of Wiggins. And it kind of seemed like it was Kerr taking like a step, like an evolution in his thought, because in the past, he's always been like, vets. I'm always going to end up relying on vets. I'm just going to play vets in the playoffs. So like, I'm not going to deviate from the vets. But then this year it was like, all of a sudden he's starting to talk about like, when asked about like why he put Kuminga in or left Kuminga in to finish the game instead of Wiggins, like he was like, look, like we're going to play the hot hand. Whoever's got the hot hand, like we're going to play that guy. Or if someone's not playing well, like they're, nobody's just, gifted minutes. But you see him do that with Wiggins. You don't see him do it with Clay. You don't see him do it with Draymond. And it's like, maybe it's because, Clay and Draymond, Clay, especially right now, it's weird. He wants his extension. Like he knows Clay has a large ego. He doesn't want to do it to Clay. He's like afraid of like losing him, but like he'll do it to Wiggins because Wiggins is passive and, sometimes Wiggins is okay just being in the background. You're not even sure he's on the court. You're not sure if he even played in the game type thing. But at the same time, I am not sure I think that's the easier route to do that. But I don't know if it's the best thing for Wiggins because I feel like Wiggins needs confidence. Like somebody needs to breathe confidence into Wiggins. That's what was happening the year they won the championship. The second year Wiggins was there. It was Andre Iguodala was just in his ear all year, just hyping the man up. And you saw him smiling. He's making monster slams. He's just like, he was a total beast. And like, he didn't really rely on this 3-point shot. Like, yeah, it would happen every once in a while, but like, he was really awesome. This year, like, if you're just going to brush Wiggins aside, like, I don't know about that. Like, Wiggins was your second best player on a championship team. He was the second best player for every round of a title run. Like, you need Wiggins to be with that kind of Wiggins. I'm a little bit worried about like screwing around with his confidence unless you're going to trade him. And if you're going to trade him, then you're only ruining his trade value. I'd rather see Clay get sat than Wiggins. Honestly, in that Nuggets game, there was a moment where it was like Curry was out there and then it was Kuminga and Wiggins. And it was like, oh, yes. Oh, I think it was Kuminga, Wiggins, and Moody at one point. Kuminga, Wiggins, Moody, Steph, and it was like Looney. Yeah, I think it was Looney. And it was like, oh, this is like, this looks like a team that could like compete with a team like the Timberwolves. Like this is a bunch of super athletic, long dudes. Wiggins athletic. He can drive, get to the basket. Same thing with Kuminga. Moody's a shooter. He also can get to the basket. Like all of a sudden they have good defense. It just seemed like that. It's like, go more that way. You need more youth that way. That's what I'm saying. Mark Graves says, no 3 seconds of the key anymore. Gobert was in the paint forever on Conley's 3-point shot. I know. I was on the phone with Dan, Mark, and I was like, I think if I could be any player in the NBA, I think I'd be Rudy Gobert because it seems pretty fun. Because like, I'm 6'5", so like, I'm tall. I'm not like NBA tall, but like, you know, if I'm playing with like my buddies and we're playing like in high school, we play a lot of like dunk hoops, like, you know, 8-foot basket. And it's just like all of us out there, you know, fucking around. And it's like, I felt like Rudy Gobert out there. Like I just didn't really have to play defense. Like I didn't, or I played defense, but I didn't really have to play defense. Like you could let guys go past you and then you just swat it. And it's like, you barely have to jump and you're just swatting everyone, affecting everyone's shots. And it's just so much fun. And it's like Rudy Gobert, you could be get a max contract, you know, rack up some defensive player of the year accolades. You're swatting shots, like all that stuff, super fun. Just kind of camping in the key, like not getting too much cardio. And then never really asked to like go out on the perimeter with like a Steph Curry or a Lillard or whatever, some guy that's going to make you look silly. And then like on offense, like pretty much it's like get offensive rebounds and like catch lobs. Like that's sick. That I would love to do that. Yeah. And I did seem like there was some 3 seconds. I was on the phone with Dan and he was like, I'm going to start counting these 3 seconds. Carlo P. Oh, dope. So he's just having a conversation with our guy, Luke Luna, which I love. I love it. I love how like when people like, it's kind of weird, but it's in a cool way. Like it's like all of a sudden people are connected. Like Dan hangs out with Mark Graves all the time. Like these people that get together. Luke Luna, team player, Kuminga? ? Hell yeah, dope. Gobert not getting ejected was BS. He grabbed Clay from behind. So I kind of covered that at the beginning. There's that screenshot that makes it look really bad, but I'm saying it's more, that was like a very momentary thing. I don't think Gobert was trying to do anything wrong. And he's just so tall that like there maybe was a little bit of like neck activity, but it's just him being tall. Moody, yeah, exactly. Moses Moody, 13 minutes and 42 seconds. Corey Joseph, 13 minutes and 14 seconds. Why? I know. And I'm going to keep coming back to it because as happy as I am about Podziemski, as happy as I am, what is it going to really do to like get another guard going on this team? Like you already have Steph and you already have Clay and you already have Chris Paul. And like Podziemski's not like really a shooting guard. Like he's more of like a Chris Paul or a Steph Curry. So you already have Chris Paul. You already have Steph Curry. Podziemski, like I want to see him you already have Gary Payton II. Like it's not really going to do that much for you long-term to like really go all in on Podziemski at the cost of someone like Moody. Like Moody, or you know what? Better example, Corey Joseph. What is Corey Joseph getting out? Like he's not going to do anything for you this year. Nothing. Literally, he's Ty Jerome, like worse. And it's like Moses Moody is the guy that you're looking for. He's 6'7", 6'8", long wingspan, young, team player, knows how to play ball, knows how to work within the offense, knows to get Steph the ball, hits threes with confidence. He can drive to the hoop. He can steal the ball. It's like all of this great shit. And it's like, come on. At least JK is getting the line. That's my favorite thing about JK is that he gets the line. Like, I honestly, one thing that's a little sad, I think that Wiggins, he provided a lot of value for the Warriors getting to the line because they did not have a guy like that, like especially when they had Russell. And it was like they were really missing KD. Like KD was the guy that got to the line. He always got to the line. Wiggins was doing it. Wiggins is in his head about his free throws right now. And I don't think he wants to go to the hoop. I don't think he wants to get fouled. I don't think he wants to end up at the free throw line. And yes, at least JK is great at getting fouled. Great at getting fouled. Aussie rule in college basketball, often only 2 games a week, good practice days against other D1 top players for Moody, whereas Kuminga only played against high school and G League players. This is going to be a little bit of a rant here, but like, let's look at the league right now. Who are the best American players? Like, where is this next gener? It used to be like, you know, it's not even like it's not like every decade there's like a batch of guys. It's like, you know, it's usually like every like 3 years, like you get like a super stud and like they just kind of keep flooding in, like maybe a couple every 2 or 3 years, like super studs that are like the next guys. And it's like, who are the best American players right now? It is Steph Curry, 34 years old, LeBron James, what, 37 or 38? I don't know. Kevin Durant, 34. Yes, you can say Jason Tatum, like he's like 27, but like he's not like to the level of like, you know, when Curry and Durant and LeBron were like his age. Like it was a whole different sort of deal, or like a Kobe, it was a whole different deal. So it's like, yes, maybe Jason Tatum. And then it's like, what? I mean, for a second there, you thought maybe now he's getting in trouble. Everybody told me Zion. I was always dubious, but everyone told me Zion was the most sure thing since LeBron. He's had off the court stuff, injuries, weight issues. It's like, where are these guys? Where is the generation? Like, we play more basketball now than ever. Like this is the most popular basketball's ever been in the US and internationally, of course, but like in the US, like where the hell are all the players? Like it literally doesn't make any sense. Like you'd think that the scouting would be better now. Kids get better nutrition, all of this kind of stuff. And it's like, if you look at like who the best players are in the league, all the guys coming up, it's Jokic, it's Giannis, Embiid, like 3 guys from out of the country. Now Embiid did play at Kansas, but still, I think there's something to like the temperament. And then Luka, now we have Chet Holmgren, Victor Wembanyama is like the next guy. It's like all of these dudes not from the United States. And it's like, what's up with that? And I truly believe that like overseas, like there's so much more time. It is a little bit weirder. Like they kind of use like the model of like soccer where it's almost like you are like in these like academies and stuff, like since you're like a teenager and you're like playing against pros at like 15, 16, it seems like. And it's just a different deal. It's like a little bit less, I guess, school focused, or I don't know how their schools dealt with, but it's just a much more like serious, like people, they just like know how to play the game. They just know how to play the game. Like all the speaking of Aussie rules, like I'm a St. Mary's fan, so I've seen all these Aussie dudes come in, like they're all awesome. They all like know how to play the game the right way. They all still have like a toughness to them. So it's like all these dudes like coming up over from Europe and like they're just taking over the game. And then like the difference is like you see like Jokic wins a championship and he's like, yeah, like cool, like it's dope, but like, I'm going to go home, like relax. Giannis, kind of similar way. Like Giannis, it does kind of have the killer mentality, but also like he wasn't like, there was no like grand show of it like after they won that championship. And it's like I don't want to be like old man because I'm this age, I'm that age, but like, it's just like all the AAU culture. And then like, I remember like when I was coming up and it's like, all you wanted to do was like, you wanted to have a mixtape and like, you wanted to have like super sick dunks and like crossovers and threes and do all this stuff to like have a sick mixtape and then, commit to like one of these college programs, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, these dudes like are getting into the NBA and like they're extremely immature. Like they don't really know how to play within a team concept. Like it's because like AAU is basically like, all right, you go one-on-one, you go one-on-one, all right, you go one-on-one. Like that's what it is. And it's like, it's not like real basketball. Now, if you notice, a couple of the guys that have made it like American dudes that are like really awesome, it's dudes that go to like mid-major schools that like they have to like actually weren't highly recruited, like actually have to like play within a system and kind of learn how to do that, like Dame Lillard, Weber State, Steph Curry, Davidson. Like if you saw the Steph Curry doc, like dude was like actually like he was fully bought into like as if it was like high school basketball. Like, he was fully bought in to the whole like Davidson offense. And it's like I don't know, like Draymond, 4-year player. And it kind of comes back to like Pajemski. Like I think like that's why like Kerr and Dunleavy clearly said like, you know what, like we're done with drafting these like James Wisemans. Like we're done drafting James Wiseman. Like, yes, we have Kuminga. We like Kuminga, but like no more G League Ignite. Like we need to draft kids that have been like at schools for like 3 years that actually like know how to play basketball. So like they got Pajemski and they got Trace Jackson Davis. And you know, and Moses Moody's another example of that. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of already forget where I'm going from all this kind of stuff, but like it's just kind of sad. And like back to Kuminga. Like he just doesn't know how to play within the system. Also, I will say that like just like Ja Morant, like it's really is like sad. Like he is a kid like mid-major. It's awesome story. And it's like, I don't know, like he's like caught up in the life. Like he has to like have an entourage of like 9 dudes around him and like they're all yes men and like he's got to like do all this stuff. You see it with like rap. Like I love hip hop and it's like the same thing. Like who are the biggest like American artists right now? It's like fucking Drake, old man Drake, you know, Future, his name's Future, he's old. Freaking J. Cole. I mean, it's like all these like old American dudes and like all the like young hot rappers are like in jail. A lot of them are dead, like, or just like they're super immature and like it's kind of dumb hip hop. Like they're not really talking about anything. And like I'm starting to like listen to more UK hip hop. I'm starting to listen to like stuff from other countries because it's actually just much better. Okay, rant over. We got to be honest. The Matt punch took so much out of Poole, his confidence, his feeling of belonging, the stadium, he got checked. You got to feel for him. Dude, I do feel for Poole. Like, it's like he's all of a sudden is like, he's kind of like a laughing stock. And like, I get it. Like it's like one of those things. Yeah. He got punched and then like, he kind of like overcompensated by being like, oh, I'm all right. I'm all right. And like, he just like started to get more into like the flexing of stuff. And you saw it in like his play style. And like now he's just like an absolute shambles on the Wizards. Cause like he feels like I'm already a made man. Like I got the big contract. I won a championship. I had like meaningful points in a championship, like games in a championship run. We were all going crazy about the pool party. Guy played great, like in game 7 in Boston, like, or game 6 or whatever it was. So yeah, I do feel bad for him. Greg Dayton, this whole team is a fucking train wreck. Luke Luna, Wiggins was the reason you guys won a ring. And the reason I called you guys to win it all the year prior when you missed the playoffs is Wiggins having personal issues, a la his absence last year. That's like the only thing I can think about. Like, or only sense I can make of it is like, I think he's going through something. I think he's totally going through something. And also like it's just, I mean, unless you are that kind of like unique type of dude, like a Steph Curry or honestly like Draymond or Clay, like these dudes that are just like actual like all-timers, all-time competitive, like it is difficult to win a championship and come back like just as motivated right after that. And so like if you're Wiggins and like you come back right off of that shine, and then all of a sudden like you're having like serious personal problems, like you're in and out of the team, you don't really feel like you belong on the team as much, and then you come back and then things kind of fizzle out, and now it's this year, and it's just different. The owners of this team are total fuck ups. I really hope it doesn't turn to the San Francisco Giants. Right, Wiggins has to be the second best player on the team to win a chip, not Kuminga. Wiggins gives elite play 2 ways. Went on. He outplayed Jason Tatum in the finals. Like he completely locked him up, got in his head, and was awesome. He was absolutely awesome. Ant-Man making a case. I've got him to win MVP also. And he does look like a young Mike. Jimmy Butler. Love Jimmy Butler. Love the pod floater. Hope he keeps getting better and doesn't fizzle out like some of the other draft picks, i.e. Nico. I know you can't help but look at him and just think Nico. But yeah, the floater. I mean, the things that like make you worried about him are like his like wingspan's not that big, which is like not good. Like you want to have a very long wingspan if you're going to be that size, especially if you're not going to be playing point guard. But he kind of makes up for it because dude's got hops. Luke Luna. That's why they're offensive players more than defensive as far as European players. Not all, but a lot just want to shoot. True. PG-13 baller. Reminds me of McGrady. Watch his indie highlights. He's still good going both ways. Yeah, Paul George is like, he's one of those guys that like I think who was the second pick in this year's draft? I'm blanking. The kid who went to Brandon Miller. Like Brandon Miller like said like he thinks that like Paul George is like better than LeBron. Like obviously that's like blasphemy. But it's like you pick these dudes that like you're just like, damn, that guy's game is so nice. Like that is the game I want. And like you just start following those players and you start trying to like do what they're doing. And like Paul George is one of those guys. He's so silky smooth. I still think like there's kind of a what if with Paul George if he didn't snap his leg in half. He does have that McGrady thing where he's so smooth. Yeah, I love him. Luke, Niners fan, 100%. Bang bang. Yeah, at least the Niners are taking cheeks now. JK is still playing too fast. He needs to slow a click and gather control. Yeah. And like it's just one of those things where it's like he hasn't played enough basketball within a system. He just hasn't. And so it's like not second nature to him. It's like he's still it's like robotic in a way. And it's like I'm saying like it's Barbie not Barbie. It's binary basketball. During NBA season, games every other day, often back to back, no team scrimmaging during the season, just shoot arounds, hard to develop during the NBA season for young guys like Kuminga Wiseman. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, like it's so tough. And then you look at like Gary Payton, and it's like, what a success that I love Gary Payton. He like as far as like that most valuable, he was like the 5th most valuable guy, I guess you'd maybe say, on that championship team, which is like really saying something because that's like it would go like with Steph, Wiggins, Draymond, Clay, Gary Payton, in my opinion, then Poole. Listen to 90s hip hop. Yeah. Just, you know, it's just tough. How you can only listen to the same shit so many times. Hell yeah, you about to just reminiscing on Utah. I love the Utah sports fans, by the way. And I don't know. You tell me, okay, Luke Luna, tell me this, or Carlo P. Where is Utah Valley College located? And I just want to let you guys know that I'm about to become a massive fan of Utah Valley because me and my friend Andrew, obviously, so he's gotten me like really into the college football and like college football betting. Like I'm primarily like a pro NFL guy. Now I'm a big college basketball guy, but also like it's tough to follow all these teams. Now what he's done is like he has just like a couple teams that are just super random that you wouldn't think about that have just been dominating against the spread the past like 3 to 4 years. And the school for him that I've been tailing for the past 6 weeks, and I think they've covered every single week, is Coastal Carolina. It's just super random, but it's like, that's like one of my squads now is like Coastal Carolina. We were like, we got to find the version of Coastal Carolina in Utah. I mean, in college basketball. So we sorted by best against the spread record since 2020, and then like biggest against the spread margin since 2020. And it was like Utah Valley was 2 at, it was like different schools at number 1, but it was Utah Valley was 2 for both of them. And like now and then we like looked and like, I think they're 5-0 in their last 5 ATS and like something like, I don't know, 13-2 in their last like 15 road games ATS. So like, we're just going to start riding Utah Valley. Just letting you know, they're playing the Charlotte 49ers at Charlotte. It's a lock. Hey, Chardal. Mitchell Ness. Is it strange playing the same team 4 times in a row? Twice Timberwolves and twice Thunder. I've never seen it. I mean, what's interesting about it is like there's no doubt there's no argument against the fact that fight wouldn't have happened at the beginning of the game if these teams weren't playing back to back in the same like arena. Like it simulated the playoffs basically. It's like you get sick of these guys, but during the NBA season that doesn't usually happen. And like when there's that extra level of frustration when they just completely punk you, like I guess it's kind of cool in a way, but yeah, never. It's going to be interesting. I mean, the Thunder. I mean, come on. When is Curry coming back? Like I went down like a dark rabbit hole like earlier today when I saw Curry was a sprained knee, and it's like I don't know how long that's going to be, 2 to 3 weeks, but I was just thinking like, what is this team without Steph Curry? And like tonight aside, because I think everyone really stepped it tonight. You know what tonight was? Tonight was like the Raiders, the first game that Josh McDaniels was fired and Antonio Pierce was brought in, and everyone was rallying and they just beat the hell out of the Giants. That was tonight, and they still lost. But they don't have Draymond and Clay. But you think about like Curry has been, I'm not even going to look up his stats, but I know that he's like averaging maybe 31. He's definitely over 50% from the field. He's over 44% from three. He's definitely over 90 from the line. So basically, this is like the best efficiency of Steph Curry's career, averaging, a little over 30 points a game. Like basically, you are getting absolute apex Steph Curry, who is a top 8 player of all time. And now, I mean, they were like 6-5, and nobody else is doing anything on offense. And it's just like, the whole offense is just trying to get it to Steph, and Steph is like, the other teams are able to just pack it in the paint because it's like you have Draymond out there. The amount of times where Steph's out there and it's like Draymond and Looney, it's like, okay, well, we don't have to guard either of those guys. So our two bigs can just park it in the middle of the bench. And then we already have like extra help on Steph. So it's like, you know what, Steph, like you better keep shooting 45% from the line because you are not getting those easy layups that you need to hit. Like usually when he's not shooting well, he goes in the lane, and just makes those insane layups at an insane clip. He couldn't do that like the other night versus Minnesota. Like, no way. Or you have like Gary Payton and Chris Paul out there with them, and Wiggins and Draymond. It's just like you don't have to guard anybody else. Like there's no there. It's just brutal. Like it looks like such a broken. Like it looks like these like college basketball offenses that I'm watching. It's like the beginning of the year and a bunch of new players, and like they just don't even know how to run offense. It's just kind of like pass. Okay, I'm gonna try and drive it in, and then maybe jump up in the air, but actually no, I'm covered, so I'm gonna spin and pass the ball. Now it's picked off and going the other way. Like Clay's their only other shooter. He's their only other floor spacer, as bad as he's been. Which is, again, it all comes back to like Moses Moody, man. So like I just don't know what this team is gonna be like. Like now they've got like the Thunder rolling in. Even if they had Draymond and Clay back for that, like the Thunder. I mean, Chet Holmgren. You've got a ton. That starting five for the Thunder is like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the most difficult covers in the entire league, like 6'5", 6'6" dude, lanky, super athletic. Then you've got Lou Dort, who's like 6'7", great defender, great shooter, super athletic, super young, super long. And then actually, that's not even true. SGA is more like a shooting guard because then the point guard's Josh Giddey, who's 6'10", and another perfect example of these guys that just come over here and know exactly how to play like within a system. Just like super long 6'10" point guard. Then you got Chet Holmgren, who's 7 feet tall and super nimble and running all over. And it's like you saw this against the Cavs too. It's like they've got Mobley and Jared Allen. It's like we may have just like it feels like we're all trying to hold on to the fact that Steph Curry still is in his prime, even though he's in a later prime. And these guys have just pulled so much magic out of their ass for so many years that like you have to still believe in them. But the NBA has completely changed, and like every team is good. Every team has long, huge, athletic, exciting players. The Houston Rockets have won like 6 games in a row, and their whole team is massive. Great. They play great defense. Like they have a bunch of shooters. Their shooters are 6'9". Jabari Smith, 6'10". Şengün's like 7 foot now. You're like 3 inches. Like these are like the shitty teams. They're supposed to be the shitty teams. And you got Jalen Green, freaking Van Fleet. Like these teams are like, and Thompson, their draft pick. It's like these are like supposed to be the shitty teams. And even the shitty teams are like pretty awesome. The Orlando Magic, like their whole lineup can handle the ball. It's like they're also massive. And it's like I don't know how this team is going to, like, unless Steph just keeps it like an insane clip, like I'm worried they're going to maybe miss the playoffs. Like seriously, like unless like they start figuring shit out, Like, there's not really, especially in the West, like, there's no easy night off. Like, oh, easy night. Oh, you know what? At least we get to play the Spurs, you know? Oh, wait, Zach Collins is 7 feet tall and he's playing center. Oh, and at power forward with Victor Wembanyama, 7'3", and Devin Vassell, young and athletic, and he can shoot threes. And freaking, they're playing at point guard. They're playing Jeremy Sohan at point guard. So power forward at Baylor plays like Draymond, basically. It's like the league became so big so quickly. And it's like all of a sudden every team has one of these massive dudes, massive lanky dudes. And it's like it's kind of scary for the Warriors. Like I actually for the first time feel like yes, there still is a world where they make it to the finals, maybe win a championship, but like things are going to really have to break right for them because the Nuggets are a terrible matchup for them. The T-Wolves are a terrible matchup for them. Let me see. I'm just going. Let me just look at the conference. Okay, Timberwolves terrible matchup. Lakers terrible matchup. They would have to. It would have to be something like they get the Suns, like, and hope that Booker and Durant, maybe like or Beal, like one of these guys is injured because they're not that big, and they could probably compete with them. They could beat the Kings. They could beat the Mavericks. They could beat the Mavericks. But still, it's like even with a team like the Mavericks, like they still have just like big. They just have like big dudes like Derek Lively all of a sudden is just like such an awesome pick. And he's just like a rim running center. And Grant Williams is like just a tough defending power forward that can actually hit threes. And like, it's not just Luka. You also have Kyrie. I don't know. It's just going to be tough this year. It's going to be tough. I mean, I'm looking at the bottom of the standings. I mean, maybe the Trailblazers is a night off, but still, I mean, DeAndre Ayton and I don't know. So all of that to say, I'm getting a little bit nervous. We're talking to Dan. Dan's in the house. True that Ryan can only listen to say songs so many times. My buddy is also getting into the Euro hip hop. Oh yeah, like Dave, Fredo, UVO. They're closer to Provo and BYU, only about 40 minutes south. Oh yeah, Utah Valley, baby. Hey guys, click the like and subscribe. You know what, Chardal? I'll send you the link in if you want to join. I can always use someone to spar off of. Chardal. I got to get through these comments. Curry's day-to-day, Kerr said after the game. So like when they said knee soreness, like I saw the play where he got injured. And by the way, it was a perfect example of like nobody else could do anything. And like Curry was just trying to make something happen. And he like went into the lane, tried to like get fouled or make a layup. And it was like Gobert's sitting right there. Towns is sitting right there. There's nothing you can do. Jaden McDaniels is down there. And instead Curry tries to like pull up and then, pass the ball out. And it's like all these guys are crashing on him. And it looked like he banged knees with Gobert. So if that's what I originally thought, is that he banged knees with Gobert, like he hit his knee really hard on the floor without bracing, in which case like that makes sense, like knee soreness. But then like all of a sudden one of the big guys, Shams or Woj, said that he was dealing with a knee sprain, which I don't even know what a knee sprain is really. I don't like, is that an MCL? Like I don't really know what that means. I think Curry will be back Thursday. Warriors sliding fast. Yeah, probably, and then probably without Draymond. I think all you can do is underdog here and other dailies fantasy here. Carlo P of Instagram. I was going to come on, but I'm a little tired. Yeah, Dan was going to come on if they won, but the juice kind of left the building. Thinking of getting a VPN and using crypto to wager on crypto betting sites. There are like Nitro betting. I think I used that like 3 years ago and it's pretty good. Like you just have to convert money to crypto and then you bet crypto. Like 1 unit is like 0.1 of a Bitcoin or something like that. So it's kind of interesting. Right. Think of a trade that can save them. Well, let's talk about like, the big thing today, right, was Zach LaVine. Somebody said it on Twitter, and I kind of agreed with them, is like, you can't really have Klay Thompson part of that trade because they don't really have any other floor spacers. So like as much as maybe you'd want to do a 1-for-1 swap with LaVine, like you can't really do it because yeah, you just can't really do it. So I don't know, and I don't know what a trade for LaVine even looks like. I would have to think it means Kuminga's in it. That's what I would honestly like. If they're gonna go get a star, I would rather have Kuminga traded. Um, Kuminga probably the best thing for his career would be to like go be on a shitty rebuilding Bulls team and just, he can just be the man, score 20 a game. He could do that. Be pretty easy for him. Could look awesome. But as far as like fitting into this nucleus and getting like, competing for championships, I just will say it again. It's Moses Moody. I don't understand. Like I don't even know. I'm gonna look up Moses Moody. Oh, almost pulled a Perkins. Moses Moody's stats this year. Moses Moody game log. All right. Let's go. Stat Muse. All right. Oh well, maybe he's not playing as well as I thought. Is he only shooting 36% from the field? Oh well, so I mean he was in the game for 13. He hasn't broken 20 minutes this year. Like he hasn't broken 20 minutes. It's hard to really get in the flow. Here I am making excuses for him. All I know is like it seemed like whenever he came in, he was hitting threes. He's shooting 28% this year. Oh, well, it doesn't help that he went 0 for 4 in the last game versus Minnesota. But still, I just based on what I'm seeing, like I don't know, he still is like a productive guy. He's like getting assists, he's getting rebounds, he's getting steals. He had a game where he had 3 steals where he was in there for 19 minutes. Like he hasn't broken 20 minutes and he's like pretty much every time he comes in, he gets a couple shots off, usually hits like 1 3, sometimes 2. Gets rebounds, steals the ball, and just like looks comfortable out there and plays good defense. Damn, I might have just owned myself. My day would have been great if the Dubs pulled out the W. I know. Okay, what's going on in the standings now? Where are the Dubs and how? I mean, they're below Sacramento now. I know that. They are 6-6. They have the 8th seed if it ended today. They're 1-4 at home. So that's not good. But the problem is that there's just no days off anymore. Like there's no shitty team rolling in to chase that you can just take you can play half-ass and whatever, and you'll get the W. Like they came out as fired up as possible for this season, locked in as possible, locked in all these road games. They've had 2 buzzer beaters, for God's sake. If you just flip those 2 games, like all of a sudden we're talking about a Warriors team that is 4-8. 4-8, and things are looking bad, and Steph's hurt. And Draymond and Klay just got ejected. Like that's how close the margins are right now. Like, yes, it's great that they came up in the clutch and made those 2 shots, but like that's randomness. That's like basically pure randomness. David Sass says, thanks for coming on. Encouraged by the effort and play of the youngins, but a game they could have won. They need to win some of these, and this actually goes back towards like the Timberwolves. Like you got to give the Timberwolves credit because they were hyper motivated to win that first game. Definitely. They came out, played kind of their A game. Played awesome defense, gave Steph fits, even though he still had 38, all that kind of stuff. It's just that, they're an up and coming team and it's exciting to play the Warriors. Like it's exciting to play the team that won the championship 2 years ago. And this legendary team with Steph Curry and all this fanfare and all this stuff. So like, of course you're going to get the hype. The way this game went, where it was like, all of a sudden Draymond and Klay are out. And now it's kind of like, dude, like, I don't know. It's like, all of a sudden the Warriors were playing from like a nobody believes in us and who cares if we do lose this game sort of mentality. Like this is like it's basically like a win-win for the Warriors. like they're going to try and win the game, whatever. But for the T-Wolves, it became like, oh shit, like if we lose this game, that's like pretty embarrassing. Like especially after like the whole thing with Draymond and Clay and Gobert getting choked out, and it's like all of a sudden the crowd's super into it, and I just felt like the T-Wolves were kind of slept through. They kind of sleptwalked through, like I'd say like 3/4 of the game. Like they played fine, they played their C performance, and the Warriors were hitting big, massive shots that were like kept seeming like just absolute like gut punches, and the T-Wolves just kind of weathered it and they won the game. Like that's like the mark of like a really good team, like a really good team. They're on a winning streak, and Towns is making clutch threes. Like you got to hand it to them. You really do. Like they are a team to be reckoned with, and they're a team kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals is like the one team that the Kansas City Chiefs don't want to play in the playoffs. Like the Timberwolves are the one team that the Denver Nuggets do not want to play in the playoffs for whatever reason. They have ownage. Crowd was hype that game. Was like tonight in Denver, games they could have won. Yeah. Yep. Rye Levine can shoot, gives you more than Clay. Possibly he puts pressure on players in a different way, especially running the floor with CP. He can make any player work. Yeah, I mean, like I said about like I had these fantasies when I saw the lineup versus Denver when it was Steph and then Moody, Kuminga, Wiggins, and a big. And it's like all of a sudden, like you're just here, you're Steph. Like you have 3 super hyper athletic guys that all can kind of score on any level. Moody's like a good shooter, and like they were just playing fast and they were playing great defense and getting their hands on balls and actually affecting shots and stuff. And it was like, damn, like this would be kind of interesting this year. Like we're all used to the formula of like Curry plus another shooter that can kind of, take at least, spaces the floor, and, and then you got Draymond who doesn't shoot and he's just taking up space, but he's good at getting Steph the ball and good places with screens. And, and then they have Looney who just doesn't really do anything except rebound and like put stuff back. It just was kind of nice to see that kind of basketball like being played. And like, if you had a guy like Zach LaVine, if you replace Clay with Zach LaVine, all of a sudden you have a lineup with like Steph, Zach LaVine, Wiggins, Kuminga. I mean, you could even throw Moody in there. Like you could run like 5, maybe Draymond's on that or whatever. But like you, all of a sudden you have athleticism, you have length. Yeah. And I'd love Chris Paul. I'd love Chris Paul with those guys. And, Chris Paul was awesome today. He really was. But this is another concern is like Kerr likes to play his veterans, his guys, the guys he trusts. And like, he already trusts Chris Paul as he should, but like Chris Paul wants to play a certain way. He wants to slow the pace up, run offense, kind of command things, which is not really, the Warriors like to have chaos happening, because chaos is when the defense breaks down and can't get set. And that's when like they get their open looks and back cuts and layups and 3-pointers. And like when Steph and Chris Paul are out there at the same time, and it's like, okay, especially if you have Clay out there, and then it's like Steph's like really got to work on the defensive end because like he's the best defender of those 3 on the perimeter, and like the offense like really kind of slows up, and then it's just like Steph's running around trying to get the ball, but I don't know. It's I don't know. Wiggins not even 28 years old, still in his prime. Yeah, I don't want to give up on Wiggins. He also has one of the best contracts in the league, even if he's playing shitty right now. Loon putting in humans work. Dre ejected twice, and Loon is alone against the biggest guys in the league. Yeah, Looney really stepped up today. Yesterday, or the previous game, I thought he kind of had a tough time, but like, dude's a gamer. Dude's an absolute gamer. But Wiggs hasn't played in almost a year. Yep. Wiggins is the key man. If he can get turned around, they can make it hard on anyone. I absolutely agree. And it's kind of weird, but like, I think that Wiggins is a playoff guy. Like I felt it ever since, because you don't really know who's a playoff guy until you get into those situations. And the year prior to when they won the championship, when they didn't have Clay and they ended up in the play-in and they played the Lakers, and Wiggins was giving LeBron fits. Like, and Wiggins was locked in, hitting it shot. Like, he just was locked. He was locked the F in. And that's when I was like, oh shit, like this guy is a playoff guy. And then he showed it in the playoffs. So I don't know. I still have trust in the guy. Welcome, Shardal. What is up, dude?
Yo, what's up, Ryan? How's your night going?
It's going pretty good, pretty good. I'm glad I could get on here. There's just too much going on in that game not to go live. Send Wiggs
I
back to
mean,
Canada for some Siakam. We need more offense.
um,
I mean,
what are some tips you give to the Warriors if they want to bounce back from this loss?
I mean, I honestly don't know. Like, I'd play Moses Moody more. I'd play a more athletic lineup. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'd play a
I
more
mean, the
athletic lineup.
I mean the Warriors had so many chances to win this game. I mean, they had so many chances on the line, and they failed on every single opportunity that was given to them.
Yeah, I mean they were pretty clutch. Like, they were pretty clutch in moments, but yes, I mean it was a game they absolutely should have
I
probably
mean, as
wrapped
a
up at the end.
I mean, as a Barrier sports fan, two of my teams are really struggling right now. The Sharks have lost three in a row. The Warriors have lost four in a row.
Are the Sharks trash?
I mean, they're trash. They're like 2-13, which might be one of the worst records so far. So
So,
they're
I mean,
they're
at least maybe they'll get a good pick.
I mean they're tanking right now. So I think they're gonna get a good pick in the draft.
Yeah, I'm not a huge. It's like how many. Like, now I'm gonna become a fan of Utah Valley. Like, I'm a fan of Coastal Carolina. Like, I have too many. There's too many sports going on right now for me to invest in hockey. It's just
I mean, when you look at the
unfortunate.
Sharks, they're so inconsistent. Like they were losing games, then they had a winning streak, then they lost that winning streak. Now they're on a losing streak. I'm like, you guys have to be consistent. Like, you guys are the most famous professional hockey team out there, and you can't be like losing games, winning games, losing games, winning games. That doesn't work that way. I mean, it's not. It's you got to be consistent every single day.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should be giving the same advice to the Warriors. Like, they need to be consistent. I think, like, if you're talking about Clay and Draymond and just like the CP, like, the thing about like age, it's not like these guys can't do what they used to do, or at least 95% of it. It's just that they can't do it every night. They can do it in, like, if they have a couple nights off and it's a playoff game, they can be more consistent with being great. But like during the regular season, like, they're just going to have games where they're flat, and you're seeing it like with Clay, especially, which is why I just think that they should have more youth playing. Clay off the bench, Moody should start. Absolutely, because Moody doesn't even want to score. He doesn't even want to score. Like, he just Clay takes away possessions, like, from, like, possessions where, like, I don't know. If Clay wants to shoot,
Hey
put him.
Ryan, how do you think the Giants are gonna do with Melvin next year?
Oh God, it's just, you've hit me with two things that make me want to glaze over. I think the Giants are going to be perfectly mid. They'll be It'll be similar to this year. Like, they'll make a run, probably be over 500 at some point. Everyone will get excited. They'll hang around 500. They'll be like a little bit too good to sell off assets at the trade deadline, but not but like not good enough to actually like make a playoff run. And then they'll finish with like 84 wins, 82 maybe.
I mean, when you look at Bob Melvin, he's a really great manager. I mean, like he's played for so many great teams, but I don't know how the first day, how the players are gonna really like respect him the first day.
I think they will. I mean, he's a baseball man. Like, there's like football guys. Like, he's a baseball man. And I do like that they got Pat Burrell. Pat Burrell to be the hitting coach is cool. Love Pat Burrell. All right, Chardell, let me like get through some of these comments because they're coming. Wiggins doesn't have that fire to me. Even the year we won the championship, he would be a ghost for 10 games in a row. That 21-22 playoff run for Wiggins is almost a distant memory. I know, but you got to give, like, he did it in the playoffs, like in the biggest moment. Like you have to just like you have to kind of bank on it to happen. Like it's like he proved it. I mean, there's a lot of time left in the regular season, but yes, he is a guy that likes to he's kind of like a cat. You're right. He's not quite a dog. He is kind of like a cat. He kind of when he's feeling you, he'll go up to you and sit on your lap for a little bit, but like you don't get to like be like, "Yo, hey cat, like let's go play fetch. Let's hang out." Like no, he kind of goes and does his own thing and you're not really sure if he's in the house or if he's outside or what's going on with him. But you know what? He is a kitty cat that showed up during the playoffs and helped win him a championship. So you got to give him some slack. To think we could have had Ant instead of Wiseman and Franz Wagner instead of Kuminga and still had Moody. Imagine Steph, Ant, Wiggins, Franz, Dre with Clay, CP, GP, Moody, Loon off the bench, Podz, TDJ. I mean, that would be so sad. The Ant thing's difficult because like obviously his workout wasn't great, but like even in the hypotheticals, like they would have had to trade up for him. I don't know how like difficult that would have been, or if Minnesota was game with doing that. But yeah, like just you saying the line, like I play. Start all. Do you ever play 2K, NBA 2K, the video game?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of 2K. I love how realistic the video game is.
That you said it. I love how realistic the video game is, and I'll play. I've been usually like it's just so fun playing as the Warriors, and like even if like they're not the best team, like it's just a hack. Like you've Steph Curry, like the game literally they changed like all the stuff in the game so that like Steph Curry, like you can actually shoot like 30 footers and all this kind of stuff, and he gets on insane heat checks, and it's so fun to play with him. I am struggling playing with this Warriors team on 2K because there's nobody else that can shoot besides, and like the other guys just like hug up on Clay, send like a double team at Steph, and not much you can do.
Hey Ryan, what are your
Um,
thoughts on the new on the new uniforms that the Warriors just got? Like it's supposed to pay homage to like 150 years of the cable car.
yeah, I mean, I gotta say the uniforms thing, I don't really care. It
I mean,
just
at
kind of
first when people like really looked at the uniforms in full detail, they thought that it looked kind of cheesy.
yeah, a lot of I mean, it's just like they're just trying to sell new jerseys. Um, what would be funny is if they did like a throwback to like the sleeve jerseys. If they brought the sleeve jerseys
I
back.
think the best jersey that I really like would be the Oakland Forever jerseys that paid homage to like the We Believe team.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know they never break out those. I don't know why they don't like break those things out like in the playoffs or like anything like that.
And it's just like the Giants because sometimes the Giants they wear certain jerseys on nights. Maybe there's a special night they wear the orange jersey, Orange Friday jersey. Then the other days
Yeah.
they wear the cream color jersey, and then the black alternate black jersey.
They never
Like
wear the
for
throwbacks. Like I think like because they like rebranded the Warriors and like changed the uniform and all that kind of stuff when Lacob and the boys got there, I think that they're like they want the like it's like they I think they're almost like so egomaniacal that they like don't want to like do the throwbacks to like before they were there. Like it's weird. Like they don't want like people to like show love towards those. Luke
so
Luna said Tatum and Brown had to get through Oladipo and Butler. Then they had to go against Wiggins, who was on locking people down, grabbing rebounds, and giving you 29. I know. Like he absolutely shut them down. I mean, Brown was still pretty good. He was at least aggressive and wasn't afraid. But yeah, Tatum was a shell. There's a reason Jackson hasn't and won't get another head coaching job. And I'm guessing that has something to do with the religious stuff. I don't really know how that all went, but uh, Mitchell Ness, Wiggins has the talent, but doesn't have it upstairs. Just my opinion. It's tough because like he just is a more passive personality. Like that just it is what it is, and I don't know. I
hey
I
Ryan,
don't
what
know.
were your thoughts on the Draymond and Clay ejection?
I think that like it reeked of for me for Draymond. Like he's just like overreacting. Both of them. Like if the Warriors were going well and they were both playing super well, like this wouldn't have happened. Like it just wouldn't. Like Clay is like letting. I mean, Clay's frustrated. He's in his head and he's forcing things.
I mean, when you
And
looked at the
Draymond, I just
ejection,
don't understand it.
when you looked at the ejection from tonight's game against Minnesota, I think Clay started it, and then Jalen McDaniels kind of reacted to it, and then Clay pulled at his jersey, and then I think Jalen McDaniels reacted to it and ripped his jersey. You could see how his jersey was ripped. Like you could see his jersey when he was walking off the court. You could see how his jersey was so ripped. Like it was like torn, completely torn.
It was torn. I mean, it's pretty wild. It was just like it was kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't think basketball is very important to Wigs. Not a lot of dog, tons of talent. Pods has the dog. Okay, I don't want to start rumors or perpetuate false rumors, but like, wasn't like the thing that people, the rumblings were like something like really messed up. Like, it was like he like found out that like his kid isn't actually his kid, or like his one of his kids was like actually like his best friend's, like his best friend's
Hey Ryan,
kid. So like his best friend like
you
banged
know
his
when you look
wife.
at when you look at basketball, um, in basketball, I don't know why other players start fights with other players. Like basketball is supposed to be a friendly sport where you're supposed to get along with each other. You're not supposed to start fights on the court, start beating people up and doing things, ripping people's jerseys and all things like that.
Oh, I totally agree.
I mean, basketball is supposed to be a sport where you like each other, right? Like
Well, I mean,
I've never seen Curry get that mad. You know, Curry gets mad, but I've never seen him get.
Curry got that
He
mad.
doesn't.
He's gotten
He
that
doesn't
mad before.
but he doesn't lose control of his emotions, right? Like he doesn't swear, he doesn't curse, anything like that. I've never seen. He's well composed in sometimes, but sometimes when somebody gets in his head, he gets really mad.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Curry, it's usually like has something to do with the refs. Like he's like picking up like way too many fouls, or like obviously in 2016, like he got like just the worst foul calls against him, and all the fouls were going against the Warriors. And then it was when Draymond was suspended, and then he threw his mouthpiece. I think Wiggs went through rehab. David Sass says. I mean, that could be. I don't know. I don't know. Um, Something's up with Wiggins, his relationship or something. His head doesn't seem to be focused. Yeah, it's like or it's like he's in his head and he's just kind of a passive guy. And it's almost like he's not really the focus right now. It's not like the team's not super cohesive. The thing is, like, when Wiggins came in, like the team was very cohesive. And it was like this one that's why it's like you bring in a guy like Wiggins to the Warriors. It's like bringing in a player to the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like they've already got their whole culture. Everything's already established. There's already great chemistry. So then we're going to bring in Wiggins, and we're gonna hype up Wiggins. We're gonna turn him into one of us. We're gonna make him feel welcome. We're gonna do everything to get Wiggins hyped. But then this year, there's the drama with Clay. It's like, what's going on with Clay? There's it's just like the team's in a little bit of dysfunction. They're trying to
I
find
mean,
these
as a
lineups, and it's like Wiggins is just kind of like he's just kind of sitting back and he's like, look, guys, I'm struggling. Like, don't worry about me. Like that kind of vibe. And like they're not really like giving him that juice. But when
I
in
mean, as
reality,
a I mean, as a sports fan, I don't know why teams hype players up so much for them to be successful, and in the end they fail because they're hyping them up so much. They're encouraging them so much. Like you're gonna do so well. They go on the big stage, they fail. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Are you setting your players up to fail, or what are you guys doing? Like, what's your mentality? What's your thought mindset here?
yeah, I mean, like I think the media does that a lot. Like, watch, it's gonna happen
But
with
why are
CJ
they setting up
Stroud.
their players to fail? Like, why are you setting up your players to perform miserably? You want their players to go out there on the court and play the best game of their life. Like you got to put in so much, you know, encourage them. Like you can do well and don't worry about the haters. Like you silence all the haters and go out there and play a good game.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're dead on. David Sass said season's long. Last year the Pelicans looked unbeatable at first. That's true. And the Lakers looked like they wouldn't make the playoffs. Also true. And Jazz started off so hot.
I mean, what's wrong with the
Poor
media? Why do the
Sharks.
media are doing this? Like, what's wrong with the sports media? Like, are they just like delusional or what?
Because everything is either the best or the worst of something. So nobody wants to talk about Brock Purdy is well, no, I don't know. I can't think of a good
No,
example.
it's kind
But
of like you're gonna win or lose. That's the mentality when you
it's
play.
like
Like you can either win a game or lose a game. Like you're not gonna win every single game.
it's like CJ Stroud wins two awesome games and he has looked so good. And it's like we all love CJ Stroud. And it's like immediately CJ Stroud should be the MVP of the league. It's like you have to go all the way to the most max. And then guess what? Then that's going to set up that's like creating a straw man argument that Stroud is an MVP level player. And then when
Because
Stroud doesn't make the playoffs or botches it in the playoffs this year, then everyone's going to dunk on him because
that's what everybody ends up saying about Kirk Cousins, the Minnesota Vikings quarterback. They say things like great things about him, like he's the best quarterback in the league. Like he's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league. They're making him feel great just because they want to make him feel great as a quarterback. And do you agree with that? Like all the comments, people are saying that Cousins is the greatest QB in the league. Like he's one of the greats.
yeah, I mean, I think people like to sound smart. And if you say that like Kirk Cousins is actually a top 7 quarterback in the league, then you sound smart because not many people are making that case and you can differentiate yourself. Wiggs can contribute to a championship, David Sass says, as he did, but he's best if he's a 4th or 5th best player on your team. Yeah. I mean, Porzingis just said it. Like he was honest. He said, I'm better and I'm more valuable as like the 4th option on a team. And he's been a 1st or 2nd option for the past, his whole career. And so now he's like a 4th option and now he's
Hey
freaking
Ryan,
awesome.
if you're playing NBA 2K right now and you wanted to create your own team, which 5 players would you put in your lineup if you were to have like a projected lineup in the game?
Um, ooh, Steph Curry. Ooh, I need a shooter. I can't use this year's Clay. Who would be a good shooter? How about Desmond Bain? I'll go Steph Curry, Desmond Bain, Kevin Durant. Mm, who would be LeBron at
What about Lillard? Would
maybe
you put Lillard on your team? I
no,
think
because I'd
Lillard's
rather
pretty
have
good.
Steph.
Not
And
Lillard.
then maybe at the 4, like LeBron at the 5, Wemben or Giannis, something like that. Okay. Well, okay, I gotta get through these comments. Chardal. Warriors have a lot of new players who have to gel. Give them time. It's true. It's just God. Can't can't fall too far behind. Just don't know what Moody's game is. I know he hustles. I honestly don't know what he is good at offensively, Mitchell Ness says. Yeah, he's just pretty
Hey
good at
Ryan,
everything.
Hey Ryan, I really like that you're one of those people who, because people normally say to turn on your video, I really appreciate that you're one of those people who doesn't force me to turn on my video. Like if I don't want to turn it on, like I could turn it off. Some people
Yeah,
like don't let me, if I don't feel like turning on my video, I mean I don't have to. Like it's not there's not like you're not obliged to turn on your video. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
yeah, man. Just
And
you're
I
on
like
my
that you're
show.
one
You
of those
don't.
people who respects me, that if I don't want to keep my video off, I can keep my video off and still continue doing the show. I mean, like we can still talk even if I don't have my video on. I don't have to turn it on if I don't want to.
Oh, exactly.
So
I like
that's
doing a
the things
FaceTime,
I
but
really
phone
like
calls are
about
nice
you.
too. Oh,
You
thank you,
really, I
Chardal.
mean, you really respect me because I mean, we're still talking right now, even though I don't got my video on, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, Chardal.
We're
You the
still having a
man.
good discussion, aren't we?
Absolutely. All right, Chardal. Let me just get through these comments really quick. Pods looks like he could do what Dante did last year for almost no money. That is a good point. That's true. he does remind me a little bit of DiVincenzo. Like he rebounding, can hit a three. That's a good call. Moody has a sweet stroke and can shoot. That is true. And I trust it. And he's confident in shooting too. Like he is confident when he's shooting. So many good teams in the West. Whoever is both hot and healthy at the end will win. Agreed. Kuminga may need a year or 3. Steph doesn't have that. Trade him for Siakam. I would love that. I would love that. I don't know how you do it salary wise. Like you probably have to like package. I don't know. Maybe Chris Paul and Kuminga. Would Chris Paul and Kuminga get it done? Run Podz can run the sex unit. I think Kuminga is going to be good too. Used to be really good at 2K, making people rage quit. Dude, people are really good at 2K now. It makes me annoyed. Wiseman is washed. I feel bad for Wiseman. Just, it's weird. It's really weird. Good thing they didn't extend Clay. If he doesn't get it together, his 40 mil expiring could get us someone good. True that. Because there is going to be a point in the year where teams will start to tank. It will happen. Wiggins' contract also Wiggins' contract is insanely tradable. Clay used to have that dog in him. I hope tonight made him remember. I feel like the problem is like Clay and Draymond, like it's almost like they are trying to bring the dog out of them by like Clay just like externally trying to like shoot a bunch of threes and like always say stuff like as if that he's like so confident and still, and you know, all this kind of stuff. And Draymond with his talking and jawing and talking like he's, you know, the man and one of the best players of all time. And like they're like trying to almost like convince themselves, like bring the dog out of them. And it's like in reality, it's probably sorry kids out there, but it's probably like being a aging like male porn star or something like that. And it's like you've done everything, you've been with every woman, and now you're getting older, you don't quite have it, and it's like it's gonna take a lot for you to feel that same way that you used to. And these guys, like, I mean, I'm sure you pop them into a playoff series and it's a high intensity deal. It's a playoff series and, you know, season's on the line. Like, yes, they are going to be able to turn it on and they're going to show up in big moments. But it's like, it's hard to do that probably for them because they've been in so many of those moments and they got so used to that. And so it is probably hard for them to bring that dog out of themselves.
Hey, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk some Niners football now. What's your score prediction for the 49ers and Buccaneers game?
49ers Bucks. I think 49ers score 31, Bucks score 17.
How many
31 20. Yeah, something like that. 31-17, 31-24, something
how
like
many
that.
passing yards do you think Brock Purdy's going to have?
It's a good question. Probably like 250. I don't know. 250. I mean, I'm like not I really hope they just show up and dominate this game. It's not close.
How many touchdowns do you think Brock Purdy's going to throw, over or under 5?
I'd probably just barely take the under on that. Damn. What show is this? 35-13 Niners. Let's go. All right, I'm getting a little lost in the comment sauce. Kuzma could be a good on a winner. I agree. If Wiggs misses Poole and trade him for Kuzma. Yep, CP3, 30 million expiring. Dre needs to know they were a man down and needed him tonight. He should have just bumped him hard and taken one tech. For real. I mean, this is...
Hey, Ryan.
He also fouled out of the other game.
I'm going with the 49ers winning over the Buccaneers 55-3.
Damn. That would be sick. That'd be some Cowboys shit. Green was smart. Gobert is a big guy going at Clay from behind. You don't know what was going to happen. I have no problem with Green taking the biggest guy in the arena like that. I know. It is kind of dope. It is. It's kind of dope. Dre needs to rein it in. His antics are getting old. They are. Green is the enforcer and acted accordingly. He might get a lot of hate, but you need someone like that on the team. True. Dude stands on his business.
Hey, Ryan, what are your overall thoughts of the NBA in-season tournament?
I mean, I was excited about it, and now I'm not so excited about it because I don't know.
Dude, everybody is comparing the NBA in-season tournament to like the NBA finals because you get a trophy in the end.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be. I'll tell you what. It depends who wins it. If LeBron James and the Lakers win it, it is going to be raised up as one of the greatest accomplishments you can have, and from now on, it is going to be something that people will chase after because LeBron's camp will make such a big deal out of it. If some like rando team wins it, or then it's just like it is what it is. But I do kind of like Carlo P brings up like NBA Cup causing tempers to flare. Anthony Davis had a dust up too. I mean, look, you can't deny like the intensity of these games has been better. So I like it. I really do.
Dude, like when everybody looks at the trophy that's given for the in-season tournament, people think it looks like the Larry O'Brien trophy. Everybody's comparing the trophy to the Larry O'Brien trophy. Dude, I don't think it looks like the Larry O'Brien trophy. I think it looks different.
I mean, it's different. It's definitely different. David Sass says Booker, Tatum, Ant, all American and good. Thompson twins look good. Like, don't get me wrong, all American. They are all American and good. It's just like none of them are like truly great. Like there's like there's the final level of like Giannis, Jokic, Curry, Durant. I'm not sure if he's still there. LeBron's, he's probably not there still. But it's like in terms of just like legendary player, Curry, and then it's like even like Luca. I mean, like there's these guys that you're like, oh, like that guy. These guys are insane. They're gonna get there. And it's like Wembanyama, Luca, freaking I don't know. My brain's dead right now. But like Booker and Tatum and Ant are all still. Ant is like a good deal below. I mean, I think there's a chance that this year's his breakout and he could start to elevate. But I mean, Booker and Tatum just leave something to be desired. They're not like legendary players. They're good perennial all-stars that could, if everything breaks perfectly, be the best player on a championship team. If everything breaks.
Ryan,
Yes.
if you look at Steph Curry, he's one of the biggest stars in the Indian American community. All the Indians love Steph Curry.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, like he's a big fan in India.
Are you a cricket fan at all?
I like cricket.
Cricket, I tried to get into it a little bit. Aussie rules like told me I should like try and
Like
get into cricket.
if you ever compare like cricket and baseball, they're the
Hey
same
Vicky.
because if you hit like a home run, that's a sixer in
Yeah,
cricket.
it's similar. It's similar. I honestly like I have a lot of American bias, so I'm like, well, I mean, their athletes aren't. It's not like it's not like they're facing a like crazy curveball or they're not facing 95, but like I realized like actually like arguably worse, arguably more difficult. Like they are facing like 97, 98 miles an hour and not just that, but like these balls are like spinning and then they bounce like and do super crazy shit. So, um there's a blue pill for that. Whose show is this? Oh, this is the Chardall Hour. 35-13. AAU has ruined American fundamentals for B-ball. Absolutely. Also, another underrated thing is like I think kids have too many miles on them at too early of an age. Like you get to call like by the time they get to the NBA, like they already have like nagging injuries and stuff. Like look at Zion. Look at a lot of these guys.
Ryan, the reason why cricket and baseball are similar is that it's similar because when somebody hits the ball and another guy behind catches it, like in baseball, when somebody hits a home run, somebody's running in the outfield catching the ball and the player
Yeah.
is gone, and then once three, like it's just like baseball, like when three batters are done. Then the other team comes up and their batters start hitting, and they have to basically score more runs than the other team. So it's similar like baseball.
Yeah.
Because in cricket, you have to score more runs than the other team. If one team scores 300 runs, the other team has to score more. They have to tie at 300 or score more than 300.
Yeah, and like they catch the balls without a glove. All so the one thing that like confused me is like there's like multiple types of cricket. Like there's cricket games that like last like a week. And like that
Yeah,
confuses me.
there's different cricket games, right? There's like a one day or international T20, different cricket. There's different forms of cricket.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, you can like go on YouTube and like they have stuff where like they bring in like MLB All Stars like to try and do cricket stuff, and then cricket players are trying to do baseball. And honestly, the
So
cricket players have an easier time
do you
with
really
baseball.
appreciate that I'm teaching you cricket because I'm an Indian American, so I'm
Oh,
teaching you about our
absolutely,
sport?
absolutely, dude.
I like to teach people who have never heard about cricket and teach them about it.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you
Japan
should
even
watch
has a
it.
couple
It's
good
very fun.
players in the league.
Yeah,
Not
to
just
me,
Europe.
you know
Oh,
what cricket is to my father. Cricket is kind of like Angry Birds to him. Completely It's very addictive. Right? You can't stop watching it.
oh, that's I was not expecting you to say that.
It's too. My dad is highly addicted to cricket.
You know, I'm gonna say uh, David Sass is not just Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. What I love about the Australian guys is like I don't know, there's like a little bit of kinship. Like they don't like really get the label of like being soft because like they're all super tough. Like they're all down to throw. They're all super tough guys. Like Andrew Bogut, freaking all these dudes are so tough
Same
and gritty.
same thing with my mom. Same thing with my mother too.
Yeah,
My
that's
mother and my
awesome.
father are
Her
both
Angry
addicted to
Birds.
cricket because it's our sport of our country. So why would we not be addicted to it?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if America's sport of their country was Angry Birds, it'd be crazy. Luke Luna, Damian Lillard has been awesome for the longest. If Curry wasn't in this era, Dame would be the Curry. He's so good. I know.
And it's so crazy about cricket
Tough.
now that now like they're making video games of cricket on PlayStation. They're making like they're making cricket video games and bringing cricket to life and all that. Now people can play on a video game of cricket,
I mean,
like
I
relive
think it's
the
all excellent.
experience of
Um,
playing the sport.
yeah, I mean, I just need to figure out like the gambling angle, and then that's what can get me into it. In SF Chronicle, Gobert said he knew Draymond would try to get ejected. Every time Steph doesn't play, Green doesn't want to play. Oh, that's hilarious. Damn, roasted. Aussie rules. Yeah, I wanted Rye to be America's only cricket broadcaster. Hey, it's not dead. When it, I will learn. You know what, Aussie rules, because it's a great idea. It is such a good idea, and it's a whole different audience to capture. I need to start reacting to like cricket videos and slowly learn it, and then I'm gonna dive in. Uh, Luke Luna, Giddy is a pleasure to watch play. So smooth, him and SJ. He's so smooth. Honestly, if I was like there, if I was OKC, I would maybe trade Giddy. Like I love Giddy. I love him so much as a
Hey Ryan,
player. But
I was really hoping that Steph Curry would play today against Minnesota, but I was shocked when I heard out that he had right knee soreness. I mean, because nobody was expecting to hear that type of news that Curry is not going to be playing in today's game.
no, nobody thought Curry was going to be out. Okay, Shardal, you know what? I'm going to let you go because I'm going to hit the rest of these comments and finish with one more
Hey
point
Ryan,
and
it
sign
was
off.
great
But
coming on your show, West Coast Spies. If I'm free or if I'm not doing anything, I would love to hit up your show again. And guys, make sure you click the like and subscribe button for West Coast Spies. He makes great content. I would like to get him to start. I would love for him to start getting monetized so he can start like getting super chats out there and you know, all those great things like that. So don't forget to hit him up. He's a really great dude,
I appreciate it, Shardal. I'll cut the promo.
and I love everything he does.
Oh, love you too, Shardal. All right. That was great. Thank you, Shardal. Oh yeah, my giddy take. Okay, so I think if I'm the Thunder, because just thinking about like their roster construction, like I love they have so many good pieces, but it's like I'm not quite sure if they all mesh together in like the way they should. Um, SGA, right? Then you've got Giddy. It's a little weird because like Giddy, you know, he's got a decent mid-range game, but like he's not a shooter, so he's not going to space the floor. He's also just kind of like just I don't know. He's just so big. And then it's like yeah, you've got Dort. Then you've got Jalen Williams, who's like awesome. You know, he can shoot and all that stuff. You got him like a lot of times they're playing him at the four, and then you got Chet. I just think like they could really use another shooter, and maybe another wing. And I kind of think that I would maybe try and capitalize on, because you could get so much for Giddey. Like, imagine, like, I wonder, could you trade Giddey and a pick for like Siakam and Anunoby? Like, is that possible? I don't know. Like, maybe. Or even like, toss some of your other younger guys, because like they need. I really love this Thunder team, and like I think, I mean, SGA's at the point where like he's ready to be like the best player on a team, just competing in the playoffs, and like they just kind of need one more adult in the room. They need a vet. They need some guy like just a guy like Siakam, who's not even like a huge leader, but just like he's like a calming presence. Dude's been in the playoffs. He's won a championship. I would probably do something like that just to like mix it up, because I don't know. It's just because SGA, he kind of has that John Morant game where he's just great at getting to the cup and he's electric. He's awesome, but like he doesn't shoot either. So it's kind of like, and a lot of this is based off also like playing with them on 2K. It's like, who's your, like, I mean, Lou Dort's, he's a good shooter. And then it's kind of like they have Isaiah Joe on the bench. He's probably their best shooter, but like he doesn't really do anything but shoot. I don't know. I would maybe look at moving Giddey, and it would be kind of devastating because I love Giddey. I just think this team's kind of ready to cook. Dre overreact. Will Rushton Film said Dre overreacted, but that's watching replays over and over. If someone on the other team grabs my teammate, I'm grabbing that dude. No time to think. Not by the neck, which was the bad part, but my 2 cents. I think it's totally fair. I'm down to hear either side of that, and I could be convinced on either side. I'm kind of playing center field on this one. I'm not leaning too much right or left. Mitchell Ness says cricket. Yeah, that was a lot of cricket talk. Mark Graves, good night, Ryan, and need more Warriors post-game shows. Absolutely. I definitely will, because, I was kind of waiting on like Lair to, invite me to, one of his big Warrior post-game shows, but honestly, with everything, with football going on and Niners and a million things, it's like, it's like if you're Larry, why? I mean, you're not going to just do a random Wednesday night game where Steph's not going to play like that. So I'm watching all these games. So, and I'm watching a lot of the league. So yes, I need an outlet to get my thoughts off. Loon's rebounding was critical to the championship. He's a little ahead of Poole and GP on that team for me. I mean, in terms of when we were listing the best players. Yeah, I'm also like I'm a little biased because like there's a site that I love called Dunks and Threes, and like it's considered to be like probably the best in terms of like player evaluation, like what a player means to the team. And like Gary Payton the second, I think, was third on there, and he was like top 35 in the league the year they won the championship, which is just crazy. But it is like whenever he comes in, like he's a guaranteed like 2 steals, and I don't know. But yeah, Looney also, like Looney is kind of almost like a playoff guy at this point too. Like he's fine during the regular season, but it's like he's such a good freaking he's such a good playoff player. Except the Aussies 76ers drafted, he was so good, then broke at the free throw line. I know, dude. Like people like throw Ben Simmons was like I mean, it was like between him and Gobert for like defensive player of the year. He was like that. I feel like it was maybe it was the year before the weirdness all started. He was like one of the best players in the league, and he still could like average like 14, 15 a game, just like dunks and all this stuff. But then, yeah, he got broke in the playoffs. Ryan, want to hear your Giddey take. There you go. You heard it. Y'all hit the likes. Thank you, Mitchell and Ness. David Sass. I know if Ben S had some dog, he could have been Draymond 2.0. Ben S. I'm dying right now. I think I'm just too tired. I can't think of who Ben S is. Right on, Chardal. Ozzy. Will Russian Films. First time listener, but I really dig the takes. Keep going. I'll keep watching Liz. Dude, thank you. First time listener. That feels great. Over 500 subs. Let's go. Yes, Carlo P. It feels great. I thought that meant I was monetized, but it turns out the other requirement is like a certain amount of like public watch hours. And I did that movie review like a year and a half ago on like this Indian film RRR with 2 of my buddies. and like it just like actually just popped off, got like 45,000 views. And so I thought it like made it so that I hit that part of the requirement, but then it's within a calendar year. So I missed it. Like I got to 500, but then I lost that. So that's, I got to start doing more shows. Love Giddy and of course Bogut. I just love me some Aussies. Found you and loved you with Larry, but love the solo show. Thank you, David. I really warms my heart. Goody is such a good passer, though. They have 10 first-round picks in the next 4 years and a bunch of seconds. I love that team. I know. I mean, look, it's not like I'm like strongly like you got to trade Giddy because I love him too. How can you not? Like as a basketball kind of purist, like he's just such an awesome freaking player. They just missed Giddy too, the Warriors. Dort is such a good defender as well. Spelled his last name wrong. Like Chet too. His numbers are the same as Wemby, but higher percentages. I know. Low key, I was thinking about like, at what point is there not just a ton of value on betting Chet to win Rookie of the Year? Because he was even like before today's game, which was obviously the big head-to-head, but like he was putting up the same stats for the most part. Like he didn't have as many highlight plays, but like all you got to like if Wemby gets hurt, which I mean, dude is just massive. Like I don't know. I feel like that could easily happen. Like Chet is a good bet. Or you know what? Even this. If the Thunder just like end up being like this team, like I think they can be, which is like a top 5, top 4 team in the West that are actually like in these big games down the stretch for seeding and stuff, like that kind of national spotlight could possibly overtake Wembanyama. Did the code work for you for NBA ticket? So Graves, I ended up not using it because my buddy Andrew is just the man and he lets me use his YouTube TV login. So he has League Pass on there. So, but you're such a sweetheart for letting me get that. I'll see if maybe I'll try that after this game, see if it works, or after this. Aussie Rule says live watch party, Warriors Niner games. Are those on at the same time? Or are you saying like do that during? Because okay, I could be down for that. Yeah, I could be down for that. Honestly, the move might be like I could do that if I'm solo. It's just too hard to do it with a couple people because then it's like, you got one guy that's like sees the plays beforehand, another guy. I don't know. It's kind of a lot going on. But I did see like there seems to be some app. I'll do some research into it where it's like connected to the NBA and it's like you can do streams of the game. So like you literally can watch the game, like the game, like imagine the like Warriors games on this screen and then I'm just like in a little box. I think that's possible. It's a different platform. It's not YouTube. YouTube would not put up with such nonsense, but yeah. So if that's a thing, like that would be so sick. Ben Simmons, bro. Congrats over 500. Thanks, Ozzy. Ben Simmons, you just talked about him, and then I wonder who Ben Essett. Oh, wow. It's getting late. Oh, that's so accurate. I know. Okay, now it all makes sense. Yes, that was like the dream for him is like, why couldn't he be like a Draymond type guy? Like Draymond, it's not like Draymond's necessarily, Draymond's not a guy you trust at the line, but like he doesn't get to the line that much. He doesn't have to. And it's like he's doing all of those like super smart. I mean, Ben Simmons is such a good passer. And it's like he could do all that same like Draymond stuff, the screening, and then then every once in a while he does the just like he turns around with the ball and just takes it straight to the cup and nobody's there and he gets the dunk versus Draymond's layup. You would get all the pieces you need on that team if you traded Giddey, but that team is about to finalize. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Maybe if somebody that we're not thinking about becomes available, because I just think like. I don't know. Like, you know what? Part of it might be like, maybe Giddey deserves his own team. Like, this kind of SGA's team. He kind of runs the squad. Like, I would kind of like to see a team where like the ball is like very much in Giddey's hands, and he's really kind of like controlling and navigating stuff. Rozzy rules. Great show tonight, right? Elbow cough. Did I just cough? I don't even know. Yeah, I'm sleepy. I'm tired. Thank you guys for watching this. It was actually a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll be back. Let's see. When's the next Warriors game? God, I was also so high on St. Mary's this year and they lost already, but I'm still high on them. I still think they could win the championship, and that's just not even capping. And Jeff Goodman said the same thing. Okay, Dubs play on Thursday. Yeah, I'm down to come on after Thursday, 10 o'clock. I'll be on Thursday. That'll be interesting. Please, more Moses Moody. Let's go. Thursday. Let's do it. All right. Later, everybody. Thank you. Like and subscribe.